We've all experienced the frustration of not being able to find that one product we desperately need. But this fall, the shortage might just become more widespread than we ever imagined. Stay tuned as we find out which shortages we might experience. Number 10. Tampons. Oh, how horrible. Tampon shortages have led to price increases for these essential items even as it is becoming harder to find on store shelves. Tampon shortages were first reported by Time in early June 2022, and according to Reddit user, this issue is becoming worse. According to the recent article in the New York Times, the primary reason for the problem is the lack of raw materials used to create tampons, namely cotton and plastic. Customer who uses different menstruation product must pay higher prices. Additionally, pad prices have increased by 8%. At the same time, tampon prices have increased by 10% from their normal level. Tampons are made of cotton and rayon, which Time noted are two materials that have been highly sought after for personal protection equipment during the pandemic. The availability and cost of the raw material may both be impacted by the conflict in Ukraine. Moreover, COVID-19 has resulted in more than usual job absences in the labor side. Fewer laborers translate into fewer tampons being manufactured and reaching retailers. Number 9. Computer chips. The chips in our automobiles, phones, and other electronic devices all depend on computer to function, and they have become an indispensable part of our daily lives. Do you know what will happen if a global pandemic causes a scarcity of computer chips? Absolute disorder. It's not good. Due to chips scarcity, some of the features we appreciate having in our cars, heated seat and steering wheels, for example, have had to be eliminated by the automotive industry. Some, but not all, industry insiders believe that the chip shortage may end in 2023 as COVID-era constraints start to loosen up. According to Sam Fiorani, Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting at Auto Forecast Solution, the industry would likely face a production decrease of 2 to 4 million vehicles in 2023. Even while losing 2 to 3 million units would be difficult for manufacturers, it would show that supply chain problems are starting to continue. So, what do you think? Will we not be seeing the production of new cars in 2023? Number 8. Toilet paper. Panic buying was a collective reaction to the pandemic's overpowering sense of stress. As a result, toilet paper was one of the first items to vanish from store shelves around the country. Most businesses had to impose a limit per purchase on TPs since customers were buying it in enormous quantities. Although this did a little to keep shelf stock, since the start of the pandemic, the problem appears to have stabilized. But in case you were wondering what else you could use in place of toilet paper, here is an alternative to help you. A bidet is a terrific choice to help you feel extra clean, even though it won't completely replace toilet paper. Should we have to use normal paper for our toilets? We don't know. Only time will tell. Number 7. Baby formula. Compared to other items on the list, the COVID-related shortage of infant formula have been acting a little differently. For starters, depending on where you live, baby formula has been sporadically unavailable. You guessed it. Problem with the supply chain at the production and delivery levels are the main culprit. The baby formula scarcity in San Antonio, Texas, the city with the worst prevalence of shortages, got so bad in May 2022 that its supply fell by 56% in comparison to usual levels. One of the major producers of infant formula in the US is Abbott, and the FDA temporarily closed one of its factories in Sturgis, Michigan. After drinking baby formula from the company, 4 newborns felt unwell, and 2 infants passed away from a rare bacterial infection, prompting the FDA to temporarily close this production site for inquiry. So, is it safe to give our loved ones baby formula again? Number 6. Cream cheese. Surprisingly, a cyber attack had a major role in the cream cheese scarcity that occurred right before the holiday season in 2021. One of the biggest dairy production manufacturers in the US reportedly suffered a cyber attack and was unable to run its operation for several days. Hence, this made it challenging to get cream cheese in various locations, along with problems with the supply chain and a severe labor shortage. What will we use as a spread in our favorite toast instead of cream cheese? Due to cyber attack, Wisconsin-based Schreiber Foods was unable to function for an extended period. As a result, the supply of cream cheese was reduced for more than 2 months. All the manufacturers are now extremely picky about their cybersecurity in the wake of the incident. Number 5. Chlorine. Chlorine was a surprise casualty of the scarcity. Your summer 2021 plans may or may not have been impacted by this. The shortage was caused by more than just COVID. Additionally, a fire at a chlorine production facility in Louisiana didn't help. However, The good news is that there are options, including switching to a saltwater pool or utilizing bromine instead of chlorine. The chlorine market was shaken by the public health emergency and a supply chain catastrophe, but the sector held strong. We discovered alternate alternatives because we didn't have as much chlorine to distribute. We're currently in a situation where the market resembles its prior to pandemic. As a result, there is reason for hopes regarding chlorine supply. What are your thoughts of the chlorine shortage in 2023? Does your plan to enjoy the summer with your family go off? Number 4. Blood. The American Red Cross said on January 11, 2022 that in part due to a decline in blood drives, the United States is experiencing its worst blood shortages in more than 10 years. In addition, personal issues and inclement weather led to the cancellation of blood drives, donors, and potentially the entire donor pool. Because of the urgent needs of the nation, the Red Cross and the NFL have even teamed up to raffle off 2 2022 Super Bowl tickets to a lucky donor. Along with other incentives, inventory recovery can frequently take weeks when supplies are limited. Hence, for the blood supply to reach approximate level and meet hospital and patient needs, the Red Cross predicts that 10,000 extra blood products must be collected each week over the upcoming month. Share what your blood group is in the comments. Let's see which one is the most numbered. Number 3. Gas. We should blame ourselves for the gas shortage. The decreasing supply of gas in May 2021 was brought on by the part of our brains that causes us to worry and purchase goods in large quantities the moment we detect the potential scarcity. Now that gasoline supply has returned to normal, gas prices are a very different story. According to the Australian Energy Market Operator's gas projection, southeastern Australia may experience gas supply shortage during periods of extreme weather for at least the next 4 years, necessitating the prospective relocation of experts south. According to IMO's study on gas possibility, supply in New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, and Australian Capital Territory, the Tasmania will be sufficient to meet demands through 2027. Customers, however, might experience shortages, particularly if cold weather and low levels of renewable energy generating coexist. Number 2. Lumber. Lumber prices soared again in early 2021, much to the chagrin of DIYers everywhere. In fact, according to Forbes, the price of timber futures rose by 375% between April 2020 and April 2021. Fortunately, lumber prices started to decline a few months later, though typical costs are still higher than they were before the outbreak. The typical 30 years fixed mortgage rate is now around 6.15%, down from a peak of 7% in October. A further decline in mortgage rates could spur a rise in the number of people looking to buy a new home as low borrowing cost makes it more feasible. Demand for lumber should increase if the housing market recovers. Number 1. Bubbly. The Washington Post stated in October 2021 that those who plan to drink Champers during their holiday celebrations should store up in advance. Low yields and supply chains problem only serve to exacerbate the champagne shortage. The Comité Interprofessionnel de Vin de Champagne, the trade association of champagne growers and producers, restricted grapes harvest in 2020 because of the concern of a global decline in demand for champagne at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The obligatory quantity reduction of 20% was implemented to avoid champagne shortage during a prospective market turndown, which, as we now know, did not materialize. Wine drinkers consumed more wine than ever before during the pandemic, which led to a 64% boost in sales from 2020 to 2021 and continuing sales growth in 2022. And there you have it, folks. Top 10 production problems we are likely to face this fall. It's astonishing how interconnected our global system are and how a single hiccup can ripple through to touch every one of us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so drop a comment and let's get a conversation started. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel to stay updated on the latest insight and discoveries.